Okay, remember that they are changing my voice. Now, you might wonder, why would anyone be so stupid as to change my voice and persecute me? Well, as the story goes, stupid is as stupid does, right? I mean, no offense to anybody, but when we look at the history of manifest destiny, they were trying to manifest the black African king's destiny, my royal line's destiny. Okay, the expression of God in my royal line, right? There's not going to be anyone doing it after my flesh dies. People will be sealed in hell, right? So, we look at the ships manifest, right? Manifest, man. And what's another kind of man word that gives away that that's part of the English language, right? Heaven's mandate, right? Man, date. Any female with sense would date the divine man and would shun the wicked man, right? Pretty straightforward. Heaven's mandate. So when we look at these pictures that depict manifest destiny, not only is it silly, but it's evil. It's kind of a mix between a more serious horror movie and The Addams Family or something, and Jim Carrey, right? No one would take someone serious if they're a mix between Jim Carrey acting foolish, The Addams Family, and a more serious horror movie, whether they're wearing a suit and have money or not. Because there's things that transcend social status. For example, Martin Luther King was not the richest person, but he is the most significant celebrity, right? Celebrity, because I'm not a celebrity, right? Celebrities are beneath me. He's the most significant celebrity in American history, who's an American. Gandhi was not rich, but he's probably the most famous Indian in Indian history. Now, a consensus of sheeple means close to nothing, right? People are called sheeple, right? It's a dog-eat-dog society, so people are called dogs, right? In the ghetto, they call females the B word, and they call them hoes, and so on and so forth. Now, guys are called dogs quite often, and it's not just a ghetto, it's with jocks and rich people and so on and so forth. Pretty straightforward, right? I don't know how anyone could miss this idea. So when we look at this thing, we see that these guys are promoting eugenics, and they believe in the childish manifest destiny philosophy. Well, how do we know that? Well, a lot of the same social clubs that were there before are still here now. Look at Masonry. Masonry isn't just one group, right? There's millions of them all over the world, and there's different factions. The York Rite, the Scottish Rite, the Eastern Star. They have Grand Lodges, Grand Lodge of San Francisco, what have you. Bunch of Masons, right? And then there's Shriners and so on and so forth. These groups go back pretty far. Masons, depending on how you slice it, can go back to like 12 or 1300 AD. Okay, in England, right? From the early stonemasons and so on and so forth. Still the same philosophies. They just kind of changed with the technology that's available, but the core, principle design, the core organizing principle remains the same. So we see that they're still trying to pretend that they're above the Royal African Falcon Martial Art Order according to them. So when you say that, hey, I don't have significance, you don't know what you're talking about. Because part of the core design is to consider people like me and to try to pretend, for them to try to pretend that they're above me, which is outrageous. Fucking retarded. Can you imagine being so stupid that you've made a whole kind of nation, a whole global movement on playing some kind of tea time game where you pretend you're above the Royal African Falcon top martial arts? And we see it with the one of the pictures on the screen. She has a sword, a big sword that she can use very effectively, mind you, because she's not a warrior. She's the daughter of a mere craftsman and so on and so forth. And trying to manifest her destiny. The reason why kings wear swords, right? It's like in Alice in Wonderland, the King of Hearts, whether he's tall, short, fat, skinny. When he's not a natural, keyword natural warrior who got there fair and square to the top, he's just making a fool of himself. That's why he resembles the fool on the tarot card. So in the popular culture, and in the culture, overtly and otherwise, you see the signs that the people you say are important believe with all their hearts that I'm more important than they are and their families all put together. You see how your logic has failed? It's part of their culture to see me as God's son and to try to pretend that they're above. Now, if you still don't understand it, let's break it down in a form that you can understand. Now, here in California, there's a lot of cities, right? LA, what have you, small towns. Now, in every city, big or small, there's a bunch of rich people that, influence the city, city council, state assembly, the mayor, the governor, you name it, right? The congressman. And they collaborate with each other trying to have their way. They cheat the masses of people out of a fair chance to vote and to have informed consent and to discuss the issues effectively, okay? And they have their way instead. Now that by default is Satanism. In the same country where 1 in 9 people live in California, there are over 380,000 churches and over 20,000 denominations of Christianity. Then there's mosques and synagogues everywhere too. It does not take a genius to see. And also there's Christian schools and so on and so on. It doesn't take a genius to see that according to their own definition, they put mere human rules, customs, and traditions over justice, over righteousness, which means they put their mere human rules, customs, and traditions and their selfish families above God on their agendas, which means by default, they are Satanists. Satanists put their emotions, their selfishness, their mere traditions above God's plan. So they're Satanists, and they're cheating everybody. And there's churches that quite often they go to, right, that make it crystal clear that I am above them. So it's in their tarot card, it's in their Freemasonry, it's in their social clubs, it's in their government psychological operations and their plans, okay? It's in their religions. It's all throughout popular culture. And the most famous and respected American celebrity in American history is not a rich English person or German or this, that, and the other thing. It's someone who's not that rich at all. It's Martin Luther King. So the Western culture makes it crystal clear that I am above everyone else and that I have the moral high ground. And I've addressed your argument many, many times. Many government people who are watching me have conceded that I've proven my point and you have no case whatsoever. The person in the comments said that they believe that I'm Christ. But here you are, as someone who dresses like they don't care about themselves very much, offers no logical counter-argument, just trolling, and you still insist that you're right and that magically I have a fucking ego magically problem. And I say it that way so they don't take me out of context. As you can see, I have won this exchange masterfully, and you have lost.